She was the pride of post-war Italy, sleek, swift, and admired. The Andrea Doria carried more than passengers. She carried the hopes of a recovering nation. But on the 25th of July, 1956, amidst the North Atlantic fog, she collided with another ship, the Stockholm. 46 lives were lost. Hundreds more fled in terror, and in the middle of it all stood Captain Calamai, a veteran of 2 wars, a master of the sea, and a man who would never command again. Was he simply overwhelmed by circumstance, or the architect of his own undoing? To some he was a steady hand caught in a perfect storm. To others, a man who should have known better. But don't take it from me. Joining us in a moment will be my uncle, affectionately known as the Cancel Captain, and as you will hear, he has got a rather different tide to sail.
Hello, Cersei, love. Always a pleasure to see my favorite niece, but now let us dispense with sentiment. This was a ship's officer who entered a dense fog bank at nearly full speed, 21 knots, with over 1,700 souls aboard. Radar or not, that was a calculated risk, and an ill-advised one. The Stockholm was approaching on a reciprocal course. Calamai's officers believed the ships would pass port to port. The Swedes, meanwhile, assumed starboard to starboard. 2 sets of assumptions, no visual confirmation, a fatal ambiguity. And in that uncertainty, Calamai chose not to reduce speed. He accepted his officer's radar interpretation without further inquiry. He placed his confidence in procedure. But the sea, I assure you, has no reverence for protocol. The result? The Stockholm's ice-strengthened bow carved a 40-foot gash into the Doria's starboard side. Dozens were killed instantly, others drowned or were crushed in the chaos that followed. A tragedy, yes, but not an unforeseeable one. Not for a man of his experience.
Radar was the marvel of the moment, but also its mystery. In 1956, it could show bearing, not track. Even seasoned crews could mistake a closing course for a safe one. Calamai wasn't reckless. He made a decision based on the best information he had. And when disaster struck, he responded not with panic, but with poise. The Doria's severe starboard list made half her lifeboats unusable. Yet, under his direction, lifeboats launched, distress calls rang out, and rescue ships closed in. Over 1,760 people survived that night. Every child aboard was saved. That was no accident. It was coordination, discipline, and a captain who stayed until the end. He left his ship only after ensuring no others remained. That's not the mark of cowardice, that's duty.
Poised or not, we must return to the moment before the collision. When you're in command, the judgment made before the crisis defines your legacy. Captain Calamai, a veteran of decades, chose to maintain speed in dense fog. That alone places him at odds with generations of maritime caution. He did not verify radar data personally, he did not issue a timely reduction in speed, and his decision to turn port, when the other ship turned starboard, sealed the outcome. And here is the inconvenient truth. He was never tried, never officially blamed, but he was removed all the same. His reputation sank with the ship. His uniform was never disgraced, but his name disappeared from the helm. That, dear viewer, is what we would now call cancel culture. No tweets, no headlines, just quiet exile.
He returned to Italy in silence, not stripped of rank, But worn thin with sorrow, he refused interviews, declined memoirs. He never again took a ship to sea. When pressed, he only said, "I think about it every night. That is not indifference. That is grief, buried deep." Survivors sent him letters, not of blame, but of thanks. Many believed he had saved their lives. History doesn't always shout its judgment. Sometimes it whispers, and Captain Calamai heard that whisper until his final breath.
I do not call the man a villain, but nor can I call him blameless. He made a critical error in an age of transition, placing too much faith in machines and not enough in instinct. He acted too late, and for 46 souls, that delay was fatal. He faced no trial, no inquiry, but he was silenced nonetheless, a decorated mariner undone by one irrevocable night. So then, should we cancel him? No. But should we exonerate him without reflection? Absolutely not. He was the captain, and the sea, always the final judge, never forgets.
Indeed it doesn't, but perhaps the people do, proving some cancellations are not forever. In time, the tides of judgment began to shift. In 2002, Genoa named a street after Calamai, Via Capitano Piero Calamai, finally acknowledging a man who bore the weight of tragedy with quiet dignity. History is rarely fair the first time around, but if we listen close enough, the truth still rises, like wreckage from the deep. If this story intrigued you, don't drift away just yet. Drop anchor with us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. There's a whole sea of forgotten stories waiting to surface as we chart a new course here on the Shipwreck Sirens channel.